to the flag if everyone could rise, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have the roll call, Penny?
Ms. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Angeline? Here. Ms. Meyer? Ms. Bolton? Mr. Babel?
Here.
Ms. Knapp?
And like I just said, everyone's aware of why the absence is. If anyone would like to motion to excuse anyone, we can do that at this time.
Make a motion to excuse Linda.
Second.
It's been motioned by Ms. Angeline, second by Mr. Burns to excuse Linda Bolton from tonight's meeting. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Angeline?
Yes.
Mr. Babel?
Yay.
Motion to excuse Ms. Meyer.
Second.
The motion by Mr. Burns to excuse Stephanie Myers from tonight's meeting, second by Ted Babel. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Angeline?
Yes.
Mr. Babel?
Yay.
Okay, for those that weren't here for the public hearing, I'm gonna make the same announcement. Unfortunately, we don't have a quorum tonight, so we won't be voting on anything. We are gonna go ahead with the meeting, just so if I can give the reports and anybody that's here that wants to address council. But we will not be able to motion or adopt anything. So we will skip the minutes, skip the pay ordinance. The County Sheriff's report. Would you like to give us your report?
Absolutely. So I'm Sergeant Oliver Albert. I'm filling in for Sergeant Jason Schmid while he's on vacation. The June 2026 monthly report. During the reporting period of June 2026, there were 129 billable calls for service and 84 non-billable calls for service. The average response time was 6 minutes. The average time on scene was 16 minutes. Incident reports, during this reporting period, there were 12 incident reports taken. Non-criminal incident reports, there were 6. Non-criminal aided case reports were taken for psychiatric emergencies, humane destruction of an animal, medical emergencies, and 1 death. From the criminal incident reports, there were also 6. Criminal incident reports were taken for menacing, felonious assault, domestic violence, theft, and drug paraphernalia. There were 4 cases assigned to detective for investigation during this reporting period. Traffic related, there were 6 crash reports. US 50 in Mount Nebo, there were no injuries. US 50 in Cooper Avenue, no injuries. Jackson Del Court, no injuries. Miami and Morgan, there were no injuries. US 50 in Cooper, there were no injuries. Western Ridge Drive, minor injuries suspected. There were 6 traffic citations that were issued. Noteworthy incidents and events on June 16, 2026, felonious assault shooting, US 50 near Mount Nebo. Approximately 14:30 hours, deputies responded for a person shot. Male victim was located with a gunshot wound and was transported to UCER. Shortly after, a suspect was located and detained near Harrison State. The suspect was then transported to UCER as well. CIS was requested and responded. Suspect was then arrested and transported to the Justice Center. On June 20th, 2026, a firearm recovery and arrest at 250 South Miami Avenue. At 0013 hours, deputies responded to another bar for an intoxicated patron causing disturbances and refusing to leave. Suspect was located walking away from the saloon when he was detained and found to be under the influence of alcohol and in possession of a Ryco 380 pistol. Deputy Adrian White reporting and making that arrest. On June 22nd, 2026, in the 400 block of South Miami Avenue, we had a deceased person with a CIS and coroner response. At 20:05 hours, deputies were dispatched to check on the well-being of the resident, female 66. Upon arrival, deputies were met by neighbors who reported they had not seen her in approximately 4 to 5 days. With the assistance of Miami Township Fire and EMS, forced entry was made. Once inside, deputies located the patient deceased next to her bed. HCSO, CIS, and the coroner's office elected to respond to her unknown medical history that was reported by Deputy Ryan Horton. That looks like that is it from Sergeant Schmid. Does anybody have anything for me to bring back to Sergeant Smig or to the sheriff's office?
On the citations, did he give any specifics as far as like what type of citation, what they were for, where they were at? In the past, I had requested that he give us some specifics. Speeding through the village is a common complaint that we have.
So June 1st, Mount Nebo and Timberline Court was a driver under suspension. June 2nd, at 120 Western Ridge Drive was a failure to control, so that was probably as a result of a crash. 6-9, East State, North Miami Avenue was driver under suspension. US 50 in Mount Nebo on June 7th was a failure to register. June 21st was US 50 at West State failure to reinstate license and proper display. And June 17th, US 50 in Cooper, doesn't specify.
Thank you.
That's what I got.
Anybody have any questions for Sergeant Oliver? You are welcome to stay and enjoy the meeting, or you may be excused.
I get back to work. Take care, sir. Take care of my
Thank you.
teeth.
Cookies.
Well, I got this whole area of Lincoln Heights I gotta take care of.
Be safe.
Will do. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, this is our public comment section of the meeting. Speaker, anyone that wishes to speak to address council does need to register with the clerk, Penny. I do have a statement to read. The village please values community input and encourages participation. While we welcome passionate viewpoints, we ask that all comments remain respectful and free of disruptive behavior. Our goal is to maintain a constructive and professional environment. Is anyone registered to speak, Penny?
Yes, we have two people.
Okay, first,
Kevin Richardson.
Mr. Richardson, step on up.
Can I hand this out to you? All right. Angeline, what's your name again?
My name is.
There you go. You want one?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
That's all right, your phone.
I'm listening. I want
Call
to.
911 and tell them it's non-emergency right away.
My name's Kevin Richardson, I work for the
Just
public
one
works.
moment.
Around the front
Let's,
door, there might be a police officer up front, he just left.
Just left.
What's the emergency?
Come in the back door.
Back door,
Sorry.
That's all right. I'll wait for Justin.
Tonight's meeting's just gonna be chaos.
Oh, it's, I can see.
Next month, we'll wear Hawaiian leis.
Thank you for waiting. You can go ahead.
All right, I know it's old news, it's from your last meeting. A gentleman came in and said that your works department didn't do anything for 3 weeks. That's a small list, what I was involved in. I'm one of 4 laborers, the supervisor. They all did a bunch of stuff that's not on here. And all this was done, including cleaning the park, which the park was underwater for about 9 days with 2 floods. We didn't get into it till June 1st. We got rid of the fish heads, the corn stalks, and the mud. I could read through this, but you can read it.
Well, I
Do you
think,
mind if I?
Go ahead.
and
Yeah,
read it?
go ahead.
Um,
This is just stuff I was involved in.
Yeah,
The other
so
guys have a whole list of their own.
our service department, we only have 4 employees in the service department, and they do work very hard to do, and they do their best to keep the village grass mowed, keep things clean. So, as one of our employees has, provided us with this list of, this is just a few of the things that he was involved with doing in the village from May 20th through June 12th. This was a total of 17 work days. So throughout those 17 work days, they cut around 160 acres of grass, which also required weed eating throughout. They weeded approximately 60% of the Morgan Creek and Cleves, that's down by C.T. Young's School. They shoveled roughly 7 tons of hot box blacktop to fill potholes in all over the Cleves area, which took 2 days. They put up flags and banners, also removed said flags. They serviced Waterworks lawnmower. They loaded about 30 loads of debris from the park during this time frame, which was the park cleanup from the flooding, correct?
Correct.
They tilled the ball fields that needed it. They scraped the roads and basketball court, as well as loaded and hauled away all of the dirt. This is again in the park.
Correct.
Park flood
Correct.
cleanup. They sprayed off the roads, the basketball court, the pickleball court, and playground. They emptied all the garbage cans in town 3 times. They watered all the flower pots 4 times. They sprayed the guardrails and the median on Route 50. They removed tree branches in town and the park for safety that were caused by multiple storms. They removed and hauled non-recyclable trash out of our recycling bins daily. They supplied the water company with an excavator operator for roughly half a day. The last 2 days during the time frame, they had to use the water truck to clean off the hard surfaces and the astroturf in the park. This takes 2 people in order to work the truck and the arrows. The water truck costs the village of Cleves over $700 a day. The water truck services must be done first to save the village of Cleves money. They were unable to address the ball fields for 2 weeks because of sanitary reason due to the multiple floods. And then if any of the residents have ever been down there right after a flood, it is, to say a hot mess would be an understatement.
Correct.
And it is a lot of work and a lot
But-
of time to get that cleaned up.
I was involved in this, there were other people involved in this, but they also did other things I wasn't involved in, not listed here.
Yeah.
So, I don't think the person followed me for 3 weeks. I know it. Or he would have seen all this too. 8 days, he said he followed us in the park while it was flooded. I didn't see him out there putting blacktop down when it was 90. I'm not gonna say someone's a liar, but I don't believe him. And I just wanted to say this. I know it's petty now, it's 30 days later since your last meeting. But I'm not gonna let it go 6 months and bring it up, it's forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I just wanna get my next 20 months in of good service. And I'll be happy to drive through this town, because on the weekends when I drive through town, I see work we didn't get done.
Yeah.
It just didn't get done that day because we were still working. You know, I see a storm drain, we should've cleaned that one. That trash over there, I didn't see that when it came through, you know. You gotta count, we have lots of these 5-minute jobs all day long. Like you're driving through town, you see 6 bottles laying on the road, you get out and you pick them up. Takes 5 minutes, but you
But
do,
those 5 minutes
you do
add up.
10 of those a day, every day. And we got a part-time employee, the new guy, Ryan. Hang on to him,
Thank you for your.
because he really tries hard. Hopefully, he can wait 20 months, or we can get bigger. Thank you. And now I'm going home. You want me to take anything for you?
No.
All right, I'll get the dishes.
I'd like to pass a comment to,
Hold on, Kevin, hold on.
I just wanted to give, your back's becoming famous right now, but, I think I should probably stutter more and be careful how I say this. I wanted to talk about my reaction on our last council meeting and how the comments were passed about the quality of the service work with respect to the baseball fields and the availability of them. And I was silent as we listened to our member of the public sharing his concern, and did not make a robust defense of our service department at that time. Now, implied or understood by me and anybody who knows me and my relationship with our employees, I know that you guys work your butts off. I have every confidence and so forth. My attitude at that moment was 2 things. A, I wanted to make sure that the concern was registered respectfully, and I think if somebody's gonna get up there and they've got something to say, there's no, you don't blow them out of the water right there, despite feeling the lumps that our staff was taking. So that was part of my attitude toward engaging with that situation. Also, we don't always comment on public comments, only if
Yeah.
there's something that we can kind of add or clarify for the person. And the second was, I was operating from a place of ignorance. Now that there's greenery, I don't get my usual preview of whether or not the park is flooded by coming down State Road and seeing a glistening field. And I just had not had the updates. We had not had a parks meeting. I had not touched base with Justin on that. So I didn't want to say anything out of ignorance. I assumed we were underwater, but that wasn't present in his comments, and I didn't know it personally. So I just wanted to clarify those 2 points, like my attitude toward receiving feedback and that I couldn't respond with facts in that moment. And express my confidence in our maintenance staff.
Thank you. It only had to do with the person standing there. You guys have a thankless job. You have to put in so much of your time for so little. You know, I understand. I watched her do it, so I very much understood. And when she thought about running again, I said, no way. No way, because you'll be putting 6 days a week into that, and I won't get any dawn time.
Well, so, again, let's just give another vote of confidence to our staff. And while you're here, I will be expressing later a great deal of gratitude about our service to the bicentennial, whatever the
250
sesquicentennial for the 250th ceremony.
One thing, before that gets down the road, we might want to get together, figure out the great things that turned out, the not so great things, and jot it down. So when we have another big celebration, we have the parking lined out better, we have a few things done better.
Agreed.
We had a lot, it was a great night. Fireworks were great. The part that I seen underneath cover.
Not me, I was out in the rain.
Well, I was
enjoying it.
dodging the rain, and my partner in the side-by-side, he got the full view. So, but it was a good night. Few stuffed vehicles, mostly ours.
Yeah.
You know, hey, go ahead, Daniel. Jump in there and pull that out for me. He stuffed, John stuffed, everybody got stuffed that night. But it, you know, it worked out. It turned out nice. I hear something calling my name.
I think I know what that is.
Yes. Have a good evening.
All right, Penny, the next registered speaker, Jeff Burkles.
Hopefully I get these knees to work.
Please don't trip over anything over there.
Well, if I could, before I go into what I'm here to talk about tonight, I just want to echo something that Mr. Burns said. When he talks about trying to be respectful to the people up here speaking, that's absolutely correct. That's exactly how I saw you that night. I've seen the whole council that way, and that's a fantastic improvement compared to what it was just 3 years ago. If you came here 3 years ago, you might have been insulted. That doesn't happen anymore, and quite frankly, Jerry, just make a comment about you. You've done a magnificent job in addressing the public, answering their questions. So I want to thank the council and you for that. One additional thing about Mr. Burns, for those of you that don't know, the last big flood, he was out there. Probably shouldn't have been health-wise, but he was out there working with the maintenance department. And so he knows firsthand what condition that park gets in. But that's not why I'm here to talk tonight. I'm here to, quite frankly, answer some statements that have been made about this council that I think are erroneous. I'll start off with one that is accurate, okay? And that is the statement that was made last council meeting by Mr. Nicholas. I've done extensive research. I've been in contact with Mr. Nicholas. I've also been in contact with Tim Steiner at the Auditor's Department. And I'm here tonight to talk about the good things, but there is one thing, and that's this particular flyer is absolutely incorrect. And I have that straight from Tim Steiner. And the maximum, okay, that people will save is 80. But depending upon the other credits they may get, it could be $70. So I'm asking the council correct this on the website, because quite frankly, misinformation left uncorrected becomes fact. And this is wrong. So before you make a decision, I'm asking that be corrected. Mr. Steiner has also offered their services to the council in the future, that even though you don't have a levy on or something like this, he'll be more than glad to give you accurate information for your fires. He was not contacted by the village.
Mr. Burkholz, just a point of clarification, because I didn't catch it. What is the line and
Well,
what is
the
the
line
correction?
in here says, if adopted, Cleves plans to eliminate the 3.9 mil general expense levy, lowering property taxes for homeowners by $137,100 of assessed home value. Mr. Nicholas was here last month, did not give, he asked whether you guys wanted it. I think Linda said that she didn't need it. He handed it to me on the way out. So I followed up on it, and I did contact him too. And I have an email of his response. Now, I don't agree with his response, because basically he was calling the village liars. I don't think this was a lie. For those that don't know, the law changed in 2013. Any levy passed before 2013, which that levy was, gets reduced. Anything that was after that doesn't. This would have been correct, except for the year it was passed. I don't see that as a lie. I see that as maybe an oversight, but there's a big difference between a lie and an oversight. So he has offered, I'm talking about Mr. Steiner in the future, he'll give you whatever you want. And his figures were exactly the figures we used in the end on the last levy. Very accurate, very thorough. But I'm here to look at what you're going to be doing. You're going to be voting on a 1% at some point income tax. And I want to compliment you guys for taking a look at putting the village on a sustainable path, because the village is important. It is not an experiment, as one of your people talked about. It's not an experiment. I think, Jerry, you talked about the fact this village was founded in 1818. It's not an experiment. It is a village, and it's a community of different people that have different needs, different income levels, and all of those needs must be met by this council. I remember when I moved here in 1996, I remember listening to Denny McEwen, and he was talking about when's the best time to plant a tree. And his answer was 30 years ago. Quite frankly, you don't want to wait until there's an emergency. I have to commend this council for taking action that maybe should have taken place 30 years ago. Okay? Or at least talking about it publicly and out in the open. Transparency is very, very important. And accuracy definitely matters. When it comes to Cleves, I'm not going to go through this tonight, but it was mentioned earlier about the unknowns of the fire contract and the sheriff's contract. So let me be real clear on what that could be. Because this contract, which the village signed, and the township signed, and North Bend, and Addiston, so people that don't realize it, you at Cleves are not paying for the police protection. All of it, you're paying part of it. There's a subsidy from the Hamilton County Commissioners, and that subsidy can be pulled any day. So in 2027, that's when the sheriff's contract ends. If it is not subsidized in 2027, the total cost for those communities is $2,100,000, of which Cleves' portion in 2028 would be $503,000, which is almost double of what it was. You cannot wait and just simply wait for what's going to happen. You have to plan forward. The village does not have the funding it needs to do what it must do, and that's provide services to our residents. A good example of that, it was brought up in that meeting, about the condition of Edgefield. Edgefield is in bad shape, very bad shape. And quite frankly, there were talks on the finance committee about repairing some of that this year, a section of it. That did not happen. Do I understand why it didn't happen? Yes, I do. So why didn't it happen? Because you have a very limited budget. That fire levy for 1 year gave you a surplus of $70,000. That's not a lot of surplus. So if you guys decide to put in the 1%, I would suggest that that be the very first thing you do, is repair that area, and repair it quickly, because those residents have been enduring those conditions for about 4 years. And it's not in good shape, and you guys have patched it and patched it and patched it. Another complaint that I've heard, maybe you haven't, is that the residents, and I've gotten phone calls on it, really don't know how much money this 1% income tax is going to generate. I talked to Rita twice to make sure I was giving you accurate information. Because there was another complaint about the number of, I think the term was, there's one of very few, okay, as far as having income tax. And Mr. McDonald wanted to make an issue of that, another one that was going to quote unquote mislead, and it's not misleading. He wants to include townships. Townships under the Ohio Constitution have no authority to tax. The only way they can do that is through what's called a JED. And that's something that I would encourage this council to consider, because quite frankly, the village needs the funds, our citizens need the services. So I would encourage you to do that. Another complaint I heard was no taxation without representation. I think that was one of the beginning meetings. Well, let's take the opposite of that. Because quite frankly, there's a lot of people that don't live in Cleves that use our services. The Three Rivers School District, for example. All their buses go across our streets. They're heavy. Those streets will have to be repaired eventually. So the question comes down. Maybe no services without proper support. Because quite frankly, it is not out of line for you to consider broadening your tax base and including the cooks, including the low-paid bus aides that I heard said here. Absolutely, that's probably going to hurt them. But the argument was that's going to wind up costing the taxpayers more money for the schools. I've always voted for levies for the school. I've always voted for the village levies. Because quite frankly, both of them deserve our support. But the fact that the school may raise taxes, that's probably going to happen anyhow because of state legislature. So I would encourage you to dismiss those arguments. Okay, they really have no place here. Your needs are just as important as a village, as a school district. The school district shouldn't ignore us, okay? And you shouldn't ignore your responsibility as council to do what's right for this village. And I encourage you at your next meeting to adopt that 1% municipal tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public that didn't register that would like to address council? Alrighty, I see you back there, Carrie. Is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of the library?
I have just a few things if you've got the time. Hello, everybody. Carrie Bernard at the current Miami Township Library, soon to be Cleves Library. I just wanted to thank you all for attending the groundbreaking ceremony that was Monday, June 29th. It was a very warm and sunny day. Made it all the more exciting, but I appreciate everyone's involvement and excitement. I appreciate the assistance with the road upheaval and stuff, so thank you all in advance for your patience. It will not be me, I'm staying off the road. I just wanted to take a few moments to encourage everybody, if you have anyone 18 or under, we still have the summer reading program going on, and your child needs to do nothing but stop in, and they get a free book just for coming in and playing along. If they continue to participate in the summer reading challenge, they can win prizes and such, but they can come in. We have lots of activities going on this summer. We have Legos on Saturday the 11th. We have a puppet petting zoo going next month. We also are having a face painting event starting at 1:30 on Saturday, July 25th. We also have a popsicle picnic that will be on Friday the 13th, so all are welcome. If you want to know what's going on, you need to look no further than the lobby. Penny does a wonderful job with promoting all of our materials. And just one last thing, many of the libraries, through a generous donation from the Library Foundation and with Dean Rega, we have telescopes now to lend. So it is a super huge honkin' telescope, and it will come with instructions and a guide and everything. But it's a tremendous opportunity to not put out the expense and to borrow it for a week at a time. So if you'd like more information on that, just stop in. Thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it.
Carrie.
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 Yes, sorry, Kevin.
Don't forget
I
how
had
I can make
another-
things more
I
complicated.
had another question.
Is the telescope rental, loaning, not rental, is that part of any larger expansion of the kinds of things the library wants to lend out? For me, it's board games, hard to get those back in one piece or with the
The
proper number of
library
pieces.
currently
but-
has an honor puzzle collection. I'm not sure if anybody has board games. I can look into that further, but I believe that there are some
I was just trying to
honor-
provide an example. Is there any broader initiative of resources they're trying to provide to the community?
We do have makerspace equipment, if you're asking along those lines. If you look on the library's website, chpl.org, and you go under services under makerspace, there are several different ones throughout the county. Our new location will have makerspace equipment. That is still being determined, but that will be available for the community as well. And to answer to your question about board games and such, or what is planned, I don't know specifics on that, other than makerspace equipment and such. If you have questions, just let me know, and I can look into that further for you.
Will do. Always interested in these third space opportunities.
Yeah.
What was that other thing you were talking about? Makerspace?
Makerspace equipment, a 3D printer, button makers, vinyl printers. Forest Park has t-shirt screen printing, so the levels of opportunity are available. They do have resources there, so you can bring in your own materials, but you can also purchase things at cost,
We
so.
just looked that up just this week,
Yeah.
and I could not believe all the stuff
I will
that
send
they
you
have.
all the link
It's amazing.
With
It's
the
amazing.
information for that.
I can't wait for our library to see what they have.
I know. I'm anxiously awaiting it too.
It's a lot.
Did that answer your question, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
My question was just, are those GPS monitored, like the big telescopes, do they have the GPS?
This is everything that it has available, so this is what it will come with.
We are going to skip the old business and new business as we're not able to motion on anything. We'll move on to our administrator's report.
Good evening. I want to start by thanking everyone that made the America 250 celebration the success it was. It was a great event. As Kevin Richardson said, we can always after action these things and do it better. That's our goal every time we do these events. We have an extremely limited staff, and we rely heavily on volunteers. So if we didn't have those volunteers, these type of events wouldn't be possible. Carrie mentioned the new library. We had the groundbreaking last week. Thank you for inviting us. Thanks to council for attending. Along those lines, I want to make mention that starting Monday the 13th, the road will be closed in South Miami near Cleves Avenue. That should take around 3 weeks. They have to open the road from curb to curb to tie in the gas main, water, electric, and sewage. So If possible, they're going to open one lane and flag it as soon as possible. We kind of have to play that by ear once they get into the roadway. Any updates, that'll be put on the website and our Facebook page. Village Clerk's office has moved up to 92 Cleves Avenue, beginning Monday of this week. There's updated hours as well. Historically, Ms. Williams has worked Tuesday evenings. She's not working Tuesdays anymore. She's still available for anybody that needs notary services. All you have to do is call or email and make an appointment, and she will accommodate any of your notary needs. Outside of that, I know there's been discussion surrounding the Jordan Road water project and the water connection fees. I've responded formally to the township. I've also informed council. I'll keep it brief here. But it appears there's misunderstanding of what a water tap or a connection fee is. And essentially, this is a funded project by Miami Township trustees to extend the water main up Jordan Road. The construction was paid for by them, and allegedly there's a belief that the tap fees were waived as part of that. Historically, that's never happened, and it's most definitely not happened under my tenure. A water connection fee is not to fund the construction or the materials that go into tapping a structure or a residence. What the water connection fee is, it's an early investment into our sinking fund, our savings fund for our infrastructure, and that matures over time. And the goal of that sinking fund is when we have to take million-dollar, multi-million-dollar renovations out, whether that be our water plant or our valves or water mains, fire hydrants, anything in our water system, those tap fees that have matured over 50, 75, 100 years, the life of most of this infrastructure, it's matured to pay for that. And we do that to prevent these enormous rate increases to our ratepayers. You know, for example, we're engineering at this time a renovation to our water plant, and that's going to exceed $2 million. Our current rates annually for all of our consumers generates about 1.4 million gross. So if we were to have to fund a $2.5 million project with interest on the water plant, you could see the forecast of how rates would run away. Not to mention our fire hydrants that cost around $7,000 a piece. We have over 350 in our system. We have over 100 miles of water main. And so these connection fees are to offset the enormous rate hikes. I'll leave it there. If anybody has questions about that, I'm happy to explain it as granular as you'd like to get with it. I could talk for hours about this. But I know that it's been a point of contention, and I just wanted to address that. If any residents have questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Mr. Hayden, what is the connection fee?
So the connection fee varies based off the size of your tap. Generally, for like a small office building or a residence, don't quote me on the dollar amount, it's around $4,200. It might be $4,205 or $4,210, but it's $4,200 at this point. That's for a 5/8 inch meter, which almost every house and small business is a 5/8 inch meter. When you get into having to provide fire protection, you can easily get to a 2-inch, 4-inch, and 8-inch. For example, over on Sand Run, which is in our water district outside of Cleves proper, they had to put in a 6-inch main for fire protection. The cost for that tap was around $32,000. So it scales considerably based off your consumption and ultimately the cost to repair or replace if it breaks. Any other questions?
I got a question about 250.
Sure.
Do we make any money?
So the rides did generate, Cindy, it was so close to after that, and then the 4th, we haven't had our after action, but around $2,000 was what the revenue we took
About
in from
1,500 for
selling
concessions
rides
and rides, about 1,500. Oh, and then you got the raffle, so that, yeah.
All of that took place under other nonprofits not affiliated with the village. So those partners, the American Legion, the Women's Club, they've mentioned that they'll be making a donation. That hasn't happened at this point. It takes time for them to meet and make formal motions, and I'm sure that'll happen in the coming weeks.
about like the beer and stuff.
That wasn't a village event. That was the American Legion ran the beer.
So we don't get any money for that?
Well, there's potential that they will make a donation to the village and council could then motion to accept it. But no, we didn't get involved in any of the liquor permitting or liquor sales. A lot of these things were prohibited from doing as a municipal corporation.
Just because, new question?
Yes.
Just because I was there at the time, was there a water issue that was over 4th of July?
Yes. Yes, and it was, well, yes, water issue, but really stemming from, yeah, I'm sorry, I was in and out, I know you saw me. So, we're still working through that, and that's part of the need for the water plant upgrade that I talked about. Over the 4th of July, we don't exactly know why it happened. The power grid there is unstable at best where the water plant is. And essentially what happens is whenever there's a surge or a flicker, it's enough to kick off our high service pumps and our well pumps. Now we do have a generator that'll kick on over time, but when you get these flickers, it's not long enough to kick the generator on and keep them going, but it is long enough to shut everything down. That requires us to come out, restart it. What happened in this instance, we have a fuse that was blown, it's an antiquated part, so we had to call our vendors, they had to come out on the 4th of July and repair them. That took some time. Didn't help that the 4th of July is probably the single largest demand day for water of the whole year. And also, it's probably the highest likelihood of structure fires on the 4th of July. So what had happened while there was this outage, we have a 1 million gallon tank, which supplies us over time if there's issues. But that tank depletes, right? The more people using it, the quicker it depletes. And we can only manage so much pressure in our system, so even when we get it online, it only fills so quick. And when you have the fire department was doing a PR, wet the neighborhood, which is great, we love that. But it wasn't helping the global water issues when, I mean, essentially they were like fighting a fire, but not spraying the community, and we're trying to fill it. So we were unaware that that was occurring. That communication gap has been addressed. They're going to communicate with us in the future. Essentially, to keep it simple, we can look at our pressures and how fast it should be filling, and we realized that we were giving us all the pressure we could to fill it, and yet it was still dropping. And so to us, that indicates there's a main break somewhere or a large consumption. And we were racing around trying to find it. Well, we found it. We found it right in front of your house. It's emergent fire truck.
That's why he wants to know.
So anyway, that was the
It was
issue.
there.
It's good now. Any other questions?
All right, we'll move on then to the mayor's report. I also would like to thank everyone that was involved with getting the America 250 celebration together. Kevin specifically on the Parks Committee, chairing the Parks Committee, the 250 Committee, all of our village employees, all the volunteers that were there, our administration, all the council members that were there to help out. Everybody from beginning to end, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks for putting on such a wonderful event. I've received a lot of good compliments about the fireworks display. Even though it was pouring down rain, I think everybody still enjoyed it, especially little kids that were out there running around sliding in the mud. I was also going to mention the issue on the 4th of July with the waterworks plant, and I wanted to extend some special thanks to our administrator, Mr. Hayvick, who spent the majority of the holiday there working on that issue, maintaining the safety for our residents and doing what they could to fix the problem so that we all had water. For council members, a couple months ago, we talked about establishing a code of conduct for elected officials. I do have a rough draft that I will be sending out for you guys to review, and please give any input that you have on it, critique it as much as you want. I really didn't have anything else other than that, so we can move on. Does anybody have any questions of me? We can move on, go ahead.
Has anybody, taken further steps to enhance our, let's say our cadence of meeting with, proximal, our neighbor governments? We've at several times said, hey, we should have a quarterly with Miami Township, or we should have a yearly with Whitewater, or anything like that. I think as we're discussing particularly the potential for the JED, we could have partners in Miami Township or Whitewater if the tax is approved. And I just, maybe it's more of a statement than a question, but I think that's something we should get on our radar to, like, hey, what are you doing? We don't want to be blindsided by, okay, we have this potential to have a JED for a new development, and then say a Kroger comes in like, nope, we already got the plans, it's going in, this is not going to be a consideration for us. We want to avoid that kind of being too late to the party.
I agree with you 100%. There is no formal plans or anything has been made. In regards to the JED, I don't think we can really have conversations with neighboring municipalities about that. But that is definitely, if the income tax is instituted, that is something that will be high on the priority of talking to Whitewater Township and Miami Township as far as possibilities of doing a JED with them, because that is one of the biggest benefits of giving an income tax, besides the fact that the burden is not only rest on the homeowners, it's shared with everybody that utilizes the services throughout the community.
It is a bigger point, right? It doesn't need to be about income tax or JEDs to make cooperation work. Like, I've been here 10 years, you've been here longer. I have never had a meeting with another government. That's a shame on all of us, I think. But you can imagine how, say we cooperate with North Bend on how we develop ingress into Cleves through Miami Avenue. It makes sense that we would have some relationship there. I don't know what's going on with their park development. We could have been learning from them, so. I hope to make it a goal by the end of the year. How about that?
Definitely something that we can build upon, we should be, I agree. Anything further? We don't have a finance report,
Well,
due to Linda's,
I can present the minutes from that if you.
oh, okay, I didn't know you had them.
Yeah, they're a bit in Kevinese, so they're not gonna be perfect like Linda's, but,
I'm sorry, Kevin, I forgot that Linda wasn't here and you did leave them. I apologize.
Not a problem. Okay, so let me review for just a moment. Okay, so, two main things, I'll handle them in the order of, I think they'll need discussion. So Cindy told us about the documents for the meeting we just had. She said all the same things at that time, only bears it only represented what we know, or what's already on the books, so it doesn't represent any new taxes coming on or coming off. There was one question about how we doing at this time of year, prorating our expenses. Revenue, we were at 53%. This is near the end of June, so 53% compared to 50% of the year completed, and the spend was at 48%. There was some discussion of when does the heavy spending come? Is it now or later? And I don't think we really knew the rule of thumb. So maybe it's fine. Maybe it's even. There was, I'll bring up two minor points later. The other main point is we had a visitor in Mr. Matt Annis of Triple Crown Investment, inquiring about the possibility of a tax abatement. I suppose he presented the details of this, and we discussed some of the legal requirements about it, what can be abated, what government's incomes are affected by that abatement. Is it ours or just everybody that's subject to those, that's part of those property taxes? Is it on improvements versus the existing value? So we established all those things for our benefit, and the long-term rationale for doing so is to basically TIF the development, which comes with its own contingencies, and which we have to vote on the particulars of. Are we going to provide a 25, a 50, a 75, a 5-year, a 10-year, or whatever? That needs to be decided. There was agreement that the mayor and Linda and I believe Justin would draft some, I don't know about recommendations, or like to discuss the matter, or like how are we going to come to this decision. I will add as personal commentary at this point. I think it'd be very good to have a documented rubric assessing the short-term and near-term gains of the development, as well as the short-term and long-term liabilities of adding that development to our communities, such as, do we need changes to water? Do we need changes to the roads? Does a new traffic light have to go there? Do we need to obscure some of the parking that was on the street? Any consideration we can think of should be put into the balance that presented, in a rubric for how to score those proposals. We did not discuss that at that time, but that's my recommendation here. I hope to see that as we further develop that issue. We did also talk about economic development. One barrier is the availability of liquor permits. One notion to get around that, or to address that, would be to create a second revitalization district to the north of town, which comes with special privileges in that respect. And there were no updates on the detention ponds and our hope to take care of those. That's what the notes said.
Any questions for Kevin regarding the finance meeting? Was there a safety meeting this month?
Yeah, we have one. Meeting was held on July 1st. Meeting commenced at 5:49. Mary Angelina and myself were present. Administrator Habig was not, and neither was Ms. Myers. There was no report from the sheriff's office. For fire department, Captain Jenko attended. We had a discussion on creating an emergency action plan for all Miami Township, and also possibly incorporating a CERT program. And Captain Jenko was going to forward our request onto Chief Schuman. There's no administrator's report. Under old business, the committee questioned if the handicap parking application has been edited to reflect the request that an award letter for Social Security disability be required to obtain the handicap parking permit. I stated I would contact Administrator Havik on the progress of the issue. The committee required that there was any date on the $5,000 promised by the Duke Energy for foliage along the front of Mount Nebo substation. Again, I stated I would contact Administrator Havik on the progress of that issue. Under new business, we discussed, we had discussion concerning going to quarterly meetings, and it's tabled until the next meeting, and our meeting was adjourned at 6:46.
Mr. Babel, if I can just make one point, the $5,000.
Yes.
That item's been closed out. It's, the $5,000 was received in 2024, just prior to my tenure.
Okay, thank you.
The foliage hasn't been placed because we have to have a follow-up meeting with Duke to ensure that they approve the plan. But we did confirm, Cindy, correct, that the 5,000.
January of that year.
January 24th.
Thank you.
Mr. Manuel, can I ask, there was something that used to be on the agenda, and I guess it got dropped off, but can I ask the safety, put it back on the agenda for consideration? At one point, we had a lot of complaints about the speeding up in, on Harrison Avenue as well as up in Coleman Woods, and we had discussed possibly getting a couple more of the speed signs.
Okay.
If you could put that back on the agenda, thank you.
We're talking on Harrison Avenue.
Up on Harrison Avenue and then maybe placing one up in Coleman Woods. We'd have to get some input on where.
What is
best
the cost of
locations.
this? What is the cost of this?
I don't know off the top of my head. We have the one on North Miami and the one on South Miami. Do you recall what the cost of those were?
I think we talked about those, and then we talked about doing the, like, blocks, cameras, possibly instead of those.
Yeah, that's true. We discussed a wide range of, you
Yeah.
know, employing more speed radar units, or considering flock. We even talked about needing to enhance our crosswalks, especially in this CT Young, and our lighting on North Miami, especially when in the foggy mornings. So we kind of looked at it as a collective, and we tabled this until we have a good understanding of what our 27 funding is going to look like. Since, you know, there is a measure on the table that could drastically change funding, that's why we tabled it. At that point, you know, I mean, you can go like super grandiose with these things that cost $50,000, or you can buy the hardware, like the housing it clips into with the standard street pole, and you can put as many of those in place as you want. You can move the sign around for targeted signage. So we'll explore all that. I'll give it to the safety committee, and we can present it from there.
Lastly, most importantly, parks.
Parks, yeah, most important. I meant to earlier acknowledge that, yes, I cut my mole shaving, and so I have schmutz on my face. I'm used to embarrassment, but.
I've been sitting here looking
I've
at you
been-
wondering all evening, what's going on with you?
I've been told professionally, if you want to be taken seriously and you have something on your face, you should acknowledge it and then move on to the point. So I'm out of order again. Parks, looking at the details of this, I don't think they're going to want to surface all the different items we got into for the 250th. A lot of the old business items were repeats, things that are in the queue or in motion. We have a barrier being installed so that people don't drive through the baseball field cross. Justin can say at some point whether these are done or not.
Done. No, it's done.
Okay, great. We re-mentioned the smoking policy, noted that it could be advisory, but tabled that and other policy updates for the post-250th era of meetings. We did again note that all of the policies that we will consider will apply to both the quad, the skate park, and the major sport facility. The equipment that we're ordering through the help of Duke was mentioned again. I don't know that that's here yet.
We've received all of it at this point. One of the fences has been installed, and when the service department gets a free minute, they're going to install the benches.
Okay. We again surfaced the issue. I've asked administration to put the Gaga Ball court into the skate park for the time being, move the concrete benches and put in a couple of picnics, and then workshop some solution for a little bit of shade. Could be the cheapest umbrella you can find, could be $1,000 industrial grade. I don't think people are supporting the latter, but this minor thing to help make this park useful for a while. So that is theoretically on an administration's plate. The rest of the meeting was spent on the particulars of getting ready for the 250th. being that those things have all been executed at this point, I don't think planning for them is a relevant topic. So I'd just like to comment on the event itself. I would like to reiterate my great thanks for basically every member of our staff, because I think they were all there at some point. Our volunteers, and special acknowledgement to Justin for all of his hard work and crazy running around that day. A lot of people like to give me credit for these things, but the baton really has shifted hands. I was very happy that day to be cruising, though I took a lot of my time to be there on Saturday. I happily found myself taking care of the bounce house or something that wasn't taken, or housing the carnival games that weren't getting played with because they weren't quite set up. Like, I was happy being a runner that day because I didn't have to worry about the chaos of making sure everybody was not naughty and everybody was in the right place. It was all very well taken care of, so many compliments to Justin and his staff, our staff. I think it was successful. I think the people who were there had a lot of fun. I don't think there was any major problems really, except that kids can get rowdy on inflatables. We'll have to consider that for the future. I think there was a great novelty to having the zip line there and the climbing wall. I've not been to a festival that's had those. I think that was really attractive to people. The music was great, the food was great. At some point, I think most of the vendors did enough business to justify being there, even though it was slow at the start. There was a little grumpiness that I heard, but I think they came around and I think they did good business. I think that the fireworks display was exceptional. I think it was very classy. It was put together. It was not too long. There was good stuff in there, and it was very well choreographed. I think hats off to, does he still go by RC Pyro or?
RC Pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
And the Karate Girls.
Yeah. And yes, our performers did their job very well, especially considering they had to be rushed with the oncoming rain. I personally sat out in the rain during the fireworks and enjoyed the coolness of it. So happy birthday, America. I think we did okay with it in Greece. Thank you to Hamilton County for the funding for
Yes.
this event.
Just one thing again, I want to mention that if we decide that we are going to do the no smoking, as soon as we get a policy in place, We Thrive will give us signs for the non-smoking.
Any questions for Kevin?
I think you did a great job, everybody involved. I think we probably would have had twice as many people there if the weather wasn't so scary.
Yeah.
But I think you all did a great job.
Well, if there's no further business, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. It's been motioned by Mr. Babel to adjourn, second by Mrs. Angeline. I have a roll call, Penny.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Angeloni? Mr. Rabel?
Yay.